What's up, you casuals? I'm Nathan Wolf, and you're watching The Father's Eye. I'm sorry you guys have to witness that, but I'm doing TikTok dances because that's all I could do now, because everybody is in quarantine. So I decided to come up with a very important video that should be released. I'm surprised no one has done it already. But top MMA fights to watch while in quarantine. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And before you watch, click like and subscribe to watch all my upcoming videos. I'll be posting a lot more, especially while we're in quarantine. So first up, we got Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. 2. Because the first one, Conor McGregor got choked out, obviously. But 2, because that fight was very close. I mean, it was a welterweight fight, first of all. And Conor McGregor was used to fighting lower weight class fighters in the first place. So I think that was an advantage for Nate Diaz. I mean, but Nate Diaz, there were some parts in the fight where Nate Diaz showed more. You know, some parts in the fight where Conor McGregor showed more. And that's what makes that fight special. That fight was very close. And a lot of people still today think that Nate Diaz won the fight and Conor McGregor lost. I mean, what are your opinions? Comment down below what you guys thought. Who should have won that fight? Nate Diaz or Conor McGregor? But that fight is one of my favorite fights. I really like that fight because it was really intense. I mean, it looked like anybody could have got knocked out in that fight. Next up, you got Mark Hunt versus Bigfoot Silva. That fight was insane. Literally. I mean, Mark Hunt and Bigfoot Silva, they were really toe-to-toe to knocking each other out. Like, one fight, like Mark Hunt almost got knocked out. Bigfoot Silva almost got knocked out. Bigfoot Silva shouldn't have had an advantage, because Bigfoot Silva is way bigger than Mark Hunt. But Mark Hunt is no joke. He had like one of the best power punches in the heavyweight division at that time. And that was a really close fight. Super close. I mean, both fighters won that night. One fighter did not win that night. Both fighters won that night. Literally, they were slugging it out at the end too. Bigfoot Silva, you could tell Bigfoot Silva got tired around the third round. But yeah, that fight was super close. I really enjoyed that fight too. That was one of the most entertaining fights ever. Next up, we got Robbie Lawler versus Carlos Condit. That fight really showed that Carlos Condit was no joke. I mean, Carlos Condit, it looked like he got in more strikes, more power punches. But for some reason, Robbie Lawler ended up winning. Like, in my opinion, Carlos Condit won that fight. But Robbie Lawler wasn't just letting Carlos Condit hit him and still win. Robbie Lawler was fighting back, and that's what made it a good fight. That still was one of the best fights. That was what makes it entertaining, because Robbie Lawler is just not gonna let someone hit him and not do anything. I mean, it's an MMA fight. So, but Carlos Condit was the one that was getting in the cleaner punches and the more punches, in my opinion. But who knows? But that was a really good fight. You guys should watch that fight, and you guys should watch that fight and then come back to this video, comment on this video, and tell me which fighter you think won, Carlos Condit or Robbie Lawler. In my opinion, Carlos Condit won, and everybody else in the comments was saying Carlos Condit won too. So come on, you guys. I could not make a video without saying Jon Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson won. Oh my god, that fight was literally insane. That fight proved how much of a true champion Jon Jones won, because Jon Jones said he wasn't training that good, or he was missing training sessions and going to parties and stuff. I don't know how true that is, but I'm guessing it's true. Just when we look at the second fight, Jon Jones ended up TKing Alexander Gustafsson. But at that time, that fight, the Jon Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson, that made Alexander Gustafsson a superstar in his country and all over the world, because Alexander Gustafsson made Jon Jones look not as indestructible as he looked in previous fights. He made him look not as destructible as he was in previous fights, and that's crazy, because Jon Jones is literally one of the most dominant fighters in the UFC. And Alexander Gustafsson showed the heart he has, and also Jon Jones showed the heart he has too, because Jon Jones wasn't used to fighting fights that tough, and Jon Jones didn't just give up. I mean, that was why Jon Jones proved the heart he has in that fight. You know how I said before you can't do a best MMA fight video without saying Lawler versus MacDonald 2? Oh my god. Lawler versus MacDonald 2. Now that fight was crazy. Robbie Lawler and Rory MacDonald are super tough. Rory MacDonald is super tough. Oh my god, that fight was super crazy. I mean, both fighters at the end of the fight, they both looked jacked. They both looked tore up on their face. They were just beating each other up for 5 rounds. They just beat each other up. But Robbie Lawler ended up winning that fight. That was a super amazing fight. That was super. I really like that fight. Like, that is also one of my favorite fights. I'm pretty sure almost all the fights on this list are one of my favorite fights. Like, that fight is like one of the top favorite fights that I have, because Robbie Lawler and Rory MacDonald, they literally were just banging it out. I mean, kudos to Rory MacDonald for not just taking punishment. I mean, Rory MacDonald was getting punished in that fight, and Rory MacDonald was getting punished, but he was punishing Robbie Lawler back a little bit too. So yeah, that's why that fight was crazy, because all these fights that are on this list, everybody was just banging it out back and forth. But this fight, you guys probably know this fight from the famous stare down that they had in the 4th round. That was crazy. That's one of the best fights. Dan Henderson versus Michael Bisping 2. Oh, that fight was crazy. Because as soon as the fight started, Dan Henderson, boom, he knocked Michael Bisping right on the chin. And then Bisping was able to recover, which is not good for Dan Henderson, because as the fight progressed on, Michael Bisping was getting some clean punches. But a lot of comments, I was reading the comments, they were saying Michael Bisping won the fight. He won the fight by points. But Dan Henderson won the fight because he jacked up Michael Bisping's face. Michael Bisping, his face looked bad after that fight. Like, literally, his face looked bad, because Dan Henderson had one of the best power fixes in the middleweight division, and that fight was super crazy. I really liked that fight. I know Michael Bisping thought that he was a true champion at that time. No, he's not the champion now. It's the middleweight division. He's Gustafsson. But yeah, that fight was crazy. And then last but not least, you can't do it. I just mentioned Gustafsson. You guys already know what's coming up next. Adesanya versus Kelvin Gastelum. That fight was insane. That fight had me standing on my feet. I was going for Adesanya in that fight, but yeah, that fight was crazy. Kelvin Gastelum proved how tough he was in that fight. And so did Adesanya, because people were saying Adesanya probably doesn't have a chin because he's been knocked out cold before. But Adesanya showed that he is tough too, and that he can get hit too. Like, Adesanya's face was beat up after that fight. Like, his lip was all swollen. Kelvin Gastelum's face was beat up too. But in the last round, Adesanya really proved how much of a champion he was, because he was able to drop Kelvin Gastelum in the last rounds. And in the last rounds, Adesanya really showed how true of a champion he was. I mean, he dropped Kelvin Gastelum in the last rounds. I forgot if it was the 4th or the 5th, but yeah, that fight was crazy. I mean, that literally shows that Adesanya is no joke. You can't play with him. Yeah, that is in this list. I want you guys to comment down below in the comments. I'm sure I missed other good fights. I'm gonna do a part 2 if you guys comment down below one of the best MMA fights of all time in the comments, and I'll do a part 2 of this video. But make sure to like, comment, don't forget subscribe, because I'm trying to get some subscribers. Come on, it only takes 1 second. Just press the subscribe button. That's all it takes. That's all it takes, man. That's all it takes. And yeah, that's in this video. Thank you. Peace out.